On October 31, 1984, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi left her residence for a television interview. As she crossed her garden, she was shot and killed by two of her own bodyguards. This assassination was retaliation for a military order Gandhi issued 5 months earlier, the storming of a temple complex known as Operation Blue Star. This raises a specific question. Why did the Indian government launch a tank assault on the Golden Temple, the holiest site in the Sikh faith? The siege was the result of a years-long political strategy. Leaders in New Delhi attempted to use religious division to secure an election, and Operation Blue Star was the eventual blowback. In 1977, the ruling Congress Party lost control of the state of Punjab to their rivals, the Akali Dal. Seeking a way back into power, Congress leaders looked for a way to split the Sikh vote and weaken the opposition. They promoted Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale, an Orthodox preacher known for his uncompromising sermons. The government funded his rise, hoping his radicalism would draw support away from the moderate politicians. It was a dangerous gamble. By propping up an extremist for short-term electoral gain, the government created a leader they could not control, one who soon began pursuing his own, far more radical agenda. Bhindranwale moved from a political asset to a militant leader. He began calling for an independent Sikh state, Khalistan, and his followers targeted Hindus and moderate Sikhs who disagreed with his vision. The government failed to intervene during several critical moments. In 1981, Bhindranwale was arrested for his alleged involvement in the murder of a journalist, but political pressure from his former allies in the government led to his release within weeks. Violence continued to escalate. In 1983, a high-ranking police officer was shot dead on the steps of the Golden Temple. His body remained where it fell for hours because state authorities were too intimidated to intervene. During the 1982 Asiad Games, police began subjecting ordinary Sikhs to intrusive searches at the borders of New Delhi. These measures humiliated the moderate community, making Bhindranwale's rhetoric attractive to those targeted by the state. Each time the government hesitated to apply the law or overreached against innocent citizens, Bhindranwale's influence grew. The possibility of a peaceful political settlement began to disappear. By late 1983, Bhindranwale had occupied the Akal Takht, the seat of spiritual and temporal authority within the Golden Temple. He was turning the shrine into a military command center. He was assisted by Major General Jarnail Singh, a veteran of the 1971 war who was dismissed from the army under a cloud of controversy. Jarnail Singh used his military expertise to fortify the temple with machine gun nests and defensive positions. The fortification of the temple turned a local political issue into a national security emergency. The government found itself forced toward a confrontation inside a sacred space. On June 5, 1984, with negotiations failed, Indira Gandhi ordered the military to clear the temple. She moved forward without informing the President of India, who was himself a Sikh. Army commanders expected the operation to be brief. Instead, they were met with a sophisticated defense. The militants used rocket launchers and hidden firing positions to inflict heavy casualties on the advancing troops. Facing heavy losses and the possibility of a prolonged siege, The army deployed main battle tanks. These massive machines were ordered to fire shells directly into the temple's historic structures to break the resistance. The cost was immense. Hundreds died, including Bhindranwale, his militants, soldiers, and many pilgrims who were trapped inside. The Sikh reference library, containing centuries of unique historical documents, was destroyed in the fires. The army met its tactical goal of clearing the complex, but the damage to India's internal stability would last for decades. After the fighting stopped, military officers inspected the ruins of the Akal Takht. Images of the battered shrine soon reached the public, causing widespread anger. For many Sikhs, the attack on the temple was an unforgivable act. In the weeks that followed, Sikh soldiers mutinied at several army bases, and prominent politicians resigned their offices in protest. The destruction of the shrine created a lasting grievance. The military victory had ended the occupation of the temple, but it had also ensured that the cycle of violence would continue. The retaliation was swift and brutal. Following the assassination of Indira Gandhi, anti-Sikh riots broke out in Delhi and other cities. Thousands of people were killed by mobs as the state failed to protect its citizens. The violence also spread internationally. In 1985, extremists bombed Air India Flight 182 over the Atlantic Ocean, killing 329 people in one of the deadliest acts of aviation terrorism in history. A military operation intended to end a crisis instead acted as a catalyst. India was pushed into a decade of insurgency and civil unrest that claimed thousands more lives. The events of 1984 left the nation mourning its leaders and its people, leaving a scar on India's democratic history. It all began with a political calculation in 1977. Leaders attempted to use a religious figure as a pawn to win a regional power struggle, assuming they could manage the consequences. Operation Blue Star serves as a warning about the danger of political proxies. When a state attempts to weaponize communal division for an election, it risks a fire that can destroy the stability of the entire nation.